started. Couple things I need to go over with you. That's just the least we can say about it. We're going to recognize the cheerleading coach for cheerleading recognition first. That's Miss Davis.
Can all of you hear me? I have had a fantastic year with these girls, and I have, in my opinion, I think a bunch of other people, I have a fantastic squad. I've got 12 sweet little girls that have been very good and done a lot and worked very, very hard this year.
Okay, guys, I tell you, when you're sponsors. One of them is Domino's Pizza. They sponsor us about 4 years. And Wade Sheet Metal gives us a contribution. And then the meal tonight in this facility is Skipper's Seafood 2, and they're always willing to display the plaque. So we have another one for Mr. Teddy. Give Teddy a hand. Add that to the wall there. Go back to the fundraising effort. We had 5. Find out. You'll see me tonight. I'll try before everybody leaves. Let me know if you made straight A's. These are guys that we found out from made straight A's, and that was our measurement, our standard for academic achievement. All during the season, we stressed grades and family and living for God, even all 3 of those ahead of football. Because a guy can't ever be a football player beyond high school if he doesn't have the grades. You'll never go to college. Plus, you'll never play in high school if you don't have certain grades. So these 7 made straight A's. And if you made straight A's and didn't tell me, then let me know before the night's over. We'll announce you, and then I'll get you one of these plaques. Okay, from the 4th grade, or 9-year-old, Justin Winters was a straight A player. From 10-year-old, Lucas Finney was a straight A player. And then in that excellent class of 6th graders, 11-year-olds, David Sheffield was a straight A player. Brian Fritz was a straight A player. Shane Sebastian was a straight A player. Overlook the 10-year-olds. Let me come back to 10-year-old. Doug Daniels was a straight A player. Their last 6th grader, Eric Hawkins, was a straight A player. Did anybody else make straight A's on the team? I didn't find out about it. Let's just recognize you now, and then I'll get you plaque later. Anybody else make straight A's? That's all A's. We have a lot of guys that made like 1 or 2 or just a couple B's, even in academic gifting. That's tremendous. Okay, we had 5 little guys that during practice had to kind of corral sometimes, but in games they did pretty good. And that's our manager, so they always get a trophy, and here's Joey Creasy's trophy. And Danny Kinley gets the trophy. And Brett Stowe gets another trophy. And Chris Walls gets a trophy. And Adam Thomas gets a trophy. Now you trade your jersey back after, and then I'll give you a trophy, okay? Adam hadn't turned his jersey in. Okay, Coach Faircloth has a special group to recognize, and then him and Coach Winters will give out the trophies to our first-year players or 9-year-old players.
Tiger football from now on. It's a personal achievement to where you learn what being hit and hitting somebody means. The kids that wear these shirts right here exemplify what Fairgrove Tiger football is. It's either hit or be hit and do it right with the best sportsmanship. Brian Fritz. Lucas Finney. Josh Driver. Eric Hopper. James Sebastian. Chris Nichols. Kid right here I want to say a little bit about. This kid right here started with me when I started coaching Little League Pinto baseball, and I saw a gifted athlete coming along, and I think everybody here will see in the future Jackie Johnson. He deserves this. He's going to be a good athlete. Vance Hanner. Chris Burkhardt. Chad Toker. Jason Wilfong. If there's ever been a crazy kid, there's one crazy kid on our team. He puts on a helmet and goes crazy. Absolutely crazy. You can't talk to him, he gets in a different orbit. He's just wild. Come here, Tyler. Justin Ruff. Jason Davenport.
Here with the team, and I thoroughly enjoyed working with these fellas. I've watched them grow not only as football players, but as men. And I tell you what, they're going to be great football players, and they're going to be great people in the community. That's what we're looking forward to. We're going to recognize the fourth graders now. This group of fourth graders, they've had it tough this year because they've basically been blocking dummies and tackling dummies. Justin Winters. Ashley Grubb. Steve Mason. Tim Hine. Jason Marsh. Jonathan Thomas. Last but not least, Doug House. Let's give him a big hand.
Be a part of the Banquet Tiger team, and I'm proud of each and every one of the boys. I think we had a real excellent season this year. We finally got what we were searching for the last few years. First year player, Michael Garrett. Another first year player, Chad Lewis. Jason Davenport. The rest of these guys, two-year players, they paid the price as fourth graders. They was blocking lefties with fifth and sixth graders. Justin Russell. Vance Hanna. James Stillwell. Doug Daniels. Lucas Finn. Josh Roberts. Aaron Fairclough. As you see, we keep probably 6th or 8th, 4th graders every year. So we have guys, they're 6th graders that are going to be good ball players. So if they keep sticking out there and working hard, they'll be champions again one of these days, maybe next year. Well, great that made the team for the first time. Gave us a lot of support, and a lot of them had a lot of action. Basically, they're part of the team. Steve Floyd. And we thank Texas for giving up this kid. He came up here and did a heck of a job on both offense and defensive line. I don't know what we'd have done without him. Sheffield? Here's a little man that came this year ready to play. He missed it last year, but he had the guts to come back and try it again. And he was our second center and did a fine job for us. Justin Gallimore.
These are our second year players, okay, the 6th graders. This is first kid that I'd like to give a trophy to is Chris Burkhart. Another kid that's helped out a great deal is Ryan Prince. Another one that has contributed a lot, and I was real proud of what he did for us this year, Chad Tote.
these kids, 3 years they've been in football. Had a lot of fun. We're real excited to be ended up their 6th grade, their 3rd year of football, their 6th grade year, success like they've had. Davidson County Champions. First one, Derek Hawkins. I know John Thomas can talk about it because you've all heard him on the field. I'll stand behind and pooch him a little bit. Our next 3-year starter happened to be the biggest bull on the team this year. A good defensive player and a very good offensive lineman. Brandon Stokes. You guys probably never heard of this little kid. I mean, he's real quiet, real timid. Really didn't like to hit people too hard. But this kid is Tyler Monroe. This kid, 3 years, last year coming into his own. We tried to make a tackle out of him last year, and it worked. This year, we tried to make him a tackle. Then we finally figured out, once we realized what we were doing on offense, it took us a couple of games, but we moved this boy to fullback, and he did a heck of a job. You saw him busting through the lines. Chris Nicks. This guy played both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. Did a heck of a job for me this year. Jackie Johnson. If y'all all remember the first game, that was the first game that Andy and I tried to call plays. We didn't really have the right people in the right position. And through the sacrifice of this young man, I'm real proud of him. He went from guard last year to quarterback, back to guard, where we needed him, where he performed outstandingly to really contribute to this county championship. Great magazine. Jason Wilcox with it. Another 3-year player that's helped us out quite a bit, especially special teams. He's been a big contributor. Philip Love. This guy has started a couple of years, and you look at him, and he walks kind of funny. The kid is not fast. He scored more touchdowns than anybody in the league, and somehow the boy gets the job done. He's so quick, and when his hips move, his feet stay still. The boy's going to be something. We can look forward to him in high school. Brad Hector. The other week I was sick as a dog home for a couple of days with a sore throat. I got a phone call one day, woke me up, and it was from one of the guys in our recreational office. I won't call his name. But he was kind of upset and kind of thought we were a little gaudy and flaunting around this sign. There's a smaller one that's going to be used to be the logo on our jackets and t-shirts. So he called and woke me up. I had about 103 fever. And he said, Andy, I know you do a great job with your program and probably do better than any program in the county or maybe anywhere in the state. He said, don't you think that sign's just a little too showy? And I started to tell him, where to put the telephone, but I didn't do that. Glory. I didn't lose my spirituality. But I tell you, to remember
a football team that experiences the success, and maybe we do overdo it, but I believe on any level of competition where they're able to truly compete in the true sense of the word of competition, that achievers who are successful should be recognized. So I ain't going to change the sign. That's what's going to be on their jackets and shirts. Amen. Yeah. Undefeated, untied, and unscored on, and, not to be out there every game with just that motive or incentive, which we didn't. We're just playing so well that the other team in 8 games could not cross the goal line. That I told the guys about the last game of the year toward the end that they would never be on a football team again in their life, and I really don't believe they ever will. They'll never be on a football team again that will be undefeated and unscored on. So once in a lifetime. Probably the last team to do it was back in the 1930s when Duke University did it, and then in the Rose Bowl, they got beat by being scored on. So it just never happens in a lifetime. It's a dream season. And I really hate it. This is such a beautiful trophy. If you haven't seen it, you may want to come up and see it at the end. This has every player's name on the placard, the coach. We'll present that in Fairgrove School either this week or next week. Get 6th graders from Brown to come over and get a little ceremony there, present that. If you people who work at Fairgrove would get to move that trophy case out of the teacher's lounge, out there in the lobby, it'd be a whole lot better where these things would be set. Nothing. That's the season they're living in. When you guys grow up and live in this community, we hope that you will settle down, work in this community, and have a family. When you go to Fairgrove School, you show that son or daughter you played on that football team because your name will be on that plaque. That'll be there for as long as that school's there. Because I've really been tempted to take it home. I think it looked great on my mantle on the fireplace. I had the privilege of coaching him when he was at East Davidson. He was an outstanding player there as well as an outstanding young man, Monty Winters. And another, first-year coach, here it is. Did a real good job with our specialty teams. And he's about as wild as Tyler, our resident Mr. Magoo, down Banquet. Okay, these 3 guys, well, actually, Coach Snow has been a little longer. He helped back about the first or second year we coached. But these 3 guys have been with me 3 years. And if I ever leave, or if they ever leave, I'll probably leave. These are just outstanding men. And Coach Snow works with our line and our backs, our music band at our church, an outstanding man, one of my dear friends in the Lord, Coach Junior Snow. This coach thought he could never call plays. When we had our chance about a year ago, we choked, the game a couple years ago. We were tight as a drum, but I saw him develop. He's a pusher, and he's loud. But I tell you, this guy loves kids. When he gets on a kid, he does it because he loves them. And this guy is a special friend of mine. It's Gary Goin. There might be a Little League football team somewhere in America with an assistant coach that wears on his hand a national championship ring. In fact, his alma mater is probably going to win the national championship this year unless Colorado has something to do about it. But I don't know of any. There might be, like I say, somewhere. But I don't know of a Little League football team that has a guy like John Thomas, the genius of defense. One of the thrills of my life was that was year we went to the Cotton Bowl, wasn't it? When won national champion. I was sitting there at home in my living room, and there, his first year, it was so many holes he gave me. But I remember seeing him come out of the tunnel there at Dallas in that stadium. He came right up to the door, and the camera was on him for some reason for about 10, 15, or 20 seconds. And I told my wife, I said, look at there. There's a guy just last year playing basketball for me, outstanding, coming ready to come out on the field, Notre Dame University. Outstanding. Outstanding coach, outstanding. Okay, the last awards is when we sat down at the end of the year and we disagree, agree, but then when it's all over, all 6 coaches unanimously agree on these picks. This is where we recognize those who achieve with a quality of leadership and success that we feel worthy of recognition. Coach Thomas will come and present first the Most Improved Player Award.
Guys, I tell you, I know what it feels like to come in second place. We did that last year, and it hurts. Up at East Davidson, one game kicked us out of making the playoffs, going all the way. That hurt. This year, we made it all the way. Nobody scored on us. We were untied. We beat everybody else that came on the field. And that's the way I like to win. Good job, guys. Most improved. This kid started 3 years ago, as many of you did. And when you look at it, you didn't really know what you had. Just like you do with a lot of fourth graders. You look at them and you think, well, maybe you can play here, or maybe you can play there. And train them and teach them how to block, how to tackle, how to pursue to the ball. But you never really know until you start putting them out and trying them, and then you find your home. It may take a year. It may take 2. By the time they get in the 6th grade, you have found a home for them. This kid did a fantastic job. I was very proud of him. Proud to be associated with the team and what he's done for us. This kid, to look at him, probably wouldn't think that he could tackle very hard. But I can tell you, I can show you some film where he slapped 6 of people's heads off. This person is Chris Nichols. This is another person that helped out. Started 3 years ago, played a lot. This year we used them both on offense and defense. And from a cornerback standpoint, he's one of the best I've ever seen. Matter of fact, I think I have the best defense I've ever seen. But this person, as far as being the most improved, is Jackie Burns.
Positions that they had to start of the year, and I thought Jackie Johnson was one of the finest Little League quarterbacks I've ever seen technique-wise. Chris Nicholson was one of the finest fullbacks I've ever seen in these years in Little League. His execution, we can tell they were most improved in those positions. Coach Goins has best offensive lineman.
I told Andy if we weren't going to give away 34 trophies, that this is the hardest year that we've ever had trying to single out any one particular player. I'll share something with you. When the first couple of days I came to practice, I started looking around and said, oh Lord, this is the year we're going to catch ours. I thought this was going to be our weakest team. But it turned out we had 34 players that could play. And every one of them could play. And that's why you see so many cold awards. Well, these guys, everybody deserves one. linemen, you can have the best back in the world, but them hogs ain't making no room for them. They ain't going nowhere. And if you'll notice, we didn't pass a whole lot this year. We ran right off tackle. We sweep very little. But what we do, we beat people with points, but we beat people. And that's what these kids made the homes, that they busted up through there. I'd rather demoralize the team than score a lot of points. Of course, we did that too. But the first one here, the co-award, will go to Bradley Stubbs. And here's the would-be quarterback that it took real smart coaching to figure out this kid needs to be back on the line. Jason Wilfong.
Coach Stowe presents the Best Offensive Back Award.
Best offensive back. You don't have to go very hard to see who that was. It's already been stated he had the most touchdowns this year. If we got in trouble, all we had to do is hand the ball to Brad Hager. He'd be gone. I remember a couple of games, he only ran the ball about 3 times and scored all 3 times. Brad Hager.
You don't get much glory on the defensive line. You don't get much glory on the offensive line either. But this first kid, he's been with us 3 years. He got to experience something that I never experienced as a defensive lineman. That was scoring touchdowns. There's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it. And I'm going to miss him. I love him. He's been a great player both on defense and offense. And he's going to do a heck of a job at East Davidson, I guarantee it. Eric Hall. Outstanding line, backs, linebackers, just overall great defense. To go unscored on, undefeated. This young man played at my position, defensive tackle. In fact, he played on the same side I played on. But he demonstrated some courage and he was sticking in there every game. He never complained. Anytime I had to chastise him or correct him, he was always, yes, sir, I'll do better. He always put out on the field. I'm really proud of him. David Sheffield.
Coach Brad Palmer presents Best Defensive Back Award.
Here, I don't know if any of you have seen Star Wars or not. Most everybody did. Luke Skywalker was standing there looking out the window after Darth Vader had cut off his hand and trying to get rebuilt back. He had that glazed eye looking off into the future. This kid would walk on the field, and when he put on the helmet, his eyes just go fixed. He had one thing on his mind, and one thing only. I'm going to put somebody down, and I'm going to put them down the right way, and I'm going to hit them so hard that they're not going to have to ask who hit them. When they wake up, they're going to know. This kid hit somebody in the game that we played at Denton. As hard a hit as I have ever seen in my life. For a 6th grader to hit anybody as hard as this kid hit him, and turn around and walk off himself is something, you know, all he done is just turned around and looked for somebody else to hit. Chris Burkhart.
mind to stand with me for these last two awards. First one we like to present as a staff is the player that we have chosen as most valuable player. Again, I just want to reiterate what they have said. To be able to go 8-0, to have the kind of season we had, undefeated, unscored on, so many contributors. You know, just could have gave all the offensive line awards and really not cheated anybody. Same thing on the back, same thing on the defensive side of the ball. In trying to define a most valuable player, you have to kind of look at the total scope, the possibility of playing on both sides of the ball. This player did. He's a 3-year player. As a 4th grader, when we saw him touch the ball for the first time, it seemed like it took a while to get him. I believe we even started him out on the depth chart. A lot of times with 4th grade, you're so unsure, you just have to balance out linemen and backs to get there. I believe we started this guy out as a lineman back on the depth chart. When we first saw him touch the football, we knew we'd found the back. This year, from a defensive position, he probably led the team in getting to a person in the backfield for a loss. On offense, did you how many touchdowns did you score? Coach Stowe, by the way, has a season book for you that you get tonight. He may have scored more than Danny in the 6th grade year. Touchdowns, 4 extra points, some punts and kickoffs were included in there, the big touchdown in the championship game when that game was on the line. And I believe other players could be considered. And I believe in all honesty the most valuable football player on this team is Brad Heckler. Our special one, we call it simply but very significantly the Tiger Award. It goes to a player and to a person who, through and by his play, personifies through his person what we think Tiger football is all about. It's a player who is successful. It's a player who knows what achievement is. It's a player who has character. It's a player who has intensity. It's a player who has leadership. That's what we look for in the Tiger Award. This player is a 3-year player. As a 4th grader, got to play quite a bit, pretty much on the defensive side of the ball. Last year was exclusively a defensive player. This year was an excellent running back, excellent defensive player. And I believe, personality-wise, he's Mr. Personality on our team. And I believe one day he might be a preacher. I don't know, but he is like that. But I want to present the Tiger to Tyler Monroe. We have a book for you up on this table that can give you. If you haven't signed, we've got a sign that we're going to put up in our field house. Like one of these two, if you haven't signed it, we'll take your autograph and your number. This book for you for the season to remember it by. The parade on Saturday. A little bit later, a couple of weeks, you may get the call. We'll call you about getting your caps, shirts, whatever you ordered. Get that what's that word? Stuff is your memory. That's an Eli grant. Anybody got anything to add? You've been a great following. We may have created a monster here. The more you win, it seems like in a lot of places, a lot of levels, it's more expected. These guys that leave the program every year, it's like losing part of the family. These guys have been with us 3 years that we lose are super good. They're good students, they're good sons. Y'all be proud of them if you're their mom and dad. We're going to miss them, but we want to see them go on the ground and then east and be great athletes and be in winning programs. Thanks for all you've done as parents, for your support. And that's all I got to say. Coach Thomas, want to say something, or any parents?
What about these coaches?
all straight. We have a tendency to stray sometimes. But, last year, Andy called us his gypsy coaches. This year, we tried to stay a little closer to home, especially during football season. But this man, I wouldn't be doing it unless this man showed me the way and got everything organized. Because all we do is show up, our schedule's made, we know exactly what to do, when to do it, and we don't get 5 minutes extra. He's always looking around. This man is just something special to us as coaches. And I know for you parents, sometimes misunderstood, but this man is a king. Andy Royal.
We had this meeting, or a banquet last year. What in the world are we going to do in 1989? We don't have touchdown gaming. We don't have Cobb. We don't have all these big hitters. So what did we do? We took it off. Next year, we can do the same thing. This kid that we've got in the 4th and 5th grade, we've already got your places. On the depth chart, it's already made out. Y'all are ready. We just got to get some more 4th graders, a few of the other 6th graders back down. We're going to have another. We're going to create the same type year we had this year, again next year. You can't ever say, it can't be done. It can't be done. It will be done. It will be done. If everybody comes back out again, we get a good turnout, we get out there and work hard, we'll repeat this year again. So let's